You can feel it, right? Our global economy feels like it's at a breaking point. But what if the story isn't just about the climate or supply chains? Today, we're going to look at this whole shift through a new lens, a kind of mythic contest between what we'll call the plastic eagle and the bamboo dragon. Okay, let's just kick things off with a pretty provocative idea. What if climate change, all the political instability, those fragile supply chains, what if those aren't the real problems? What if they're just symptoms of something running much, much deeper? Okay, if those are just the symptoms, what's the underlying disease? Well, the thinking goes that it's the very economic operating system that powers our entire world. The system itself is failing, and it's failing because it was designed for a world that frankly just doesn't exist anymore. So let's dig into that. What is this real crisis? See, our whole modern economy was built on just a few key assumptions. And these ideas, they fueled some incredible growth for decades. But now, they've hit a hard wall. They have reached their absolute design limits. And here they are. First, the assumption that energy, we're talking fossil fuels, would basically be cheap and endless. Second, that we could build our whole world around stuff that you just throw away. And third, and this is the big one, that you could just push the real costs, the ecological damage, the social fallout, off the books forever. Well, guess what? The bill is coming due. So if the old system is failing, what's going to replace it? This is where things get really, really interesting. The future isn't just one single path. Instead, what we're seeing are two competing logics, two totally different ways to organize an economy starting to emerge. And we can think of them as two powerful archetypes. First up, you've got the plastic eagle. Now, this is not about a specific country. It's a symbol for a way of thinking. It's an economy that runs on synthetic petrochemical materials that's built on the idea of disposability and is totally optimized for short-term profit. In this model, power comes from extraction and control. And its competitor? The bamboo dragon. And again, this isn't about a nation, it's about a different logic. This archetype stands for a regenerative economy. I mean, just think about bamboo itself, right? It grows super fast, it's unbelievably resilient, and it's renewable. This way of thinking values circular flows, long-term planning, and its power comes from continuity and adaptation, not from domination. Let's put them side by side because this is where you really see the difference. The eagle's logic is to take, use, and discard. The dragon's logic is to renew, reuse, and adapt. This is not some minor tweak, you guys. This is a fundamental rewrite of how power is even defined. It's a shift away from pure dominance toward long-term resilience. I have to say this one more time because it is so, so important. This is not a simple East versus West or a US versus China story. Not at all. These are competing operating systems, and you can find versions of the eagle and the dragon at work in economies all over the planet. And that means we have to stop thinking about this like a traditional war. The real contest here isn't military, no. It's a systemic, economic, and infrastructural rewiring of the entire planet. This quote just nails it. Infrastructure beats ideology. What that means is that all the arguments and theories in the world don't matter as much as what actually gets built. The winner is going to be the one who creates the more resilient, more efficient, more future-proof systems out there in the real physical world. So you can forget the traditional battlegrounds. The real competition is happening right here, in the race to build smarter supply chains, cleaner energy systems. It's about who can master the science of brand new materials. But maybe most of all, it's a battle over the story we tell ourselves about what progress is even supposed to mean in the 21st century. Now, a global shift this big isn't clean. It's not like flipping a switch. We are living smack in the middle of it, in a really messy, confusing transition zone. It's full of hybrid systems and, yeah, a lot of false choices. A perfect example of all this confusion is the whole debate around degrowth. It's almost always framed as sacrifice, right? As having less. But the regenerative growth model of the bamboo dragon, it's not about reducing stuff just for the sake of it. No, it's about increasing our capability and our resilience. It totally reframes regeneration not as some moral sacrifice, but as a straight-up competitive advantage. So this leads to a really vital skill that I think we all need right now. Being able to spot the difference. How can you tell when a company or a policy is genuinely part of the transition versus when it's just greenwashing? Slapping a thin coat of green paint on the same old broken model. All right, finally, this whole framework pivots. It shifts from just analyzing the system to thinking about our personal role within it. And this might be the most profound idea of the whole thing, the ancestor's choice. Just let this quote sink in for a second. The transition away from the plastic eagle's logic, that's not a choice anymore. It's an inevitability. It's being driven by hard material reality. The only real choice we have is whether we actively design a graceful transition or if we just passively accept a chaotic collapse. So the point, then, isn't to perfectly predict the future. It's to take responsibility for designing it. This is really a call to action, to stop being passive consumers of a broken system and to start being active architects of whatever comes next. And that's really the heart of it. This isn't about finding one right answer. It's about facing a fundamental question, a question aimed at every single one of us, in our own lives and in our work. As this great rewiring of our world unfolds, what kind of ancestor will you choose to be?